The silent exit. The Grand Council Hall was filled with light and noise. Dozens of alien leaders sat on their thrones, voices rising in argument, laughter, and smug remarks. Holographic banners floated in the air, showing maps of space territories, treaties, and demands. Every species had sent a representative. All were present, except one. At the far end of the hall sat the humans. Their seat was plain. No lights, no banners. Just 5 humans sitting in silence. Dressed in simple dark uniforms, their faces showed no emotion. Their eyes watched everything. The council believed they had won. For months, the council had pushed new trade rules, new laws and new borders, slowly trying to corner Earth. They called it cooperation. But in truth, it was pressure, power games. Many on the council feared humanity's fast rise. Earth had joined the stars only 60 years ago, but now they had ships that could outrun council cruisers. They had colonies thriving on death worlds. They had secrets. And worst of all, they didn't beg. That angered the council. So the council kept pushing. Today was supposed to be the final step. A treaty that would tie Earth's hands for good. Military limits, technology sharing, mining rights, taken away. It was written in the soft words of diplomacy, but the meaning was clear: obey or else. High Speaker Treval, a tall blue-skinned being with 4 arms, stood and raised his voice. Let us now finalize the document. Earth will sign. All others have agreed. The other aliens clapped or nodded. A few glanced at the humans, curious. The lead human, an older man with gray hair and sharp eyes, said nothing. He stood up. His team followed. Treval frowned. Do you have something to say on behalf of your people? The human looked around the hall. His eyes moved slowly from one face to the next, calm, cold. Then he turned and walked out. No words, no protest, no fight, just silence. The other humans followed. Gasps echoed through the hall. The doors closed behind them with a low, final thud. For a moment, no one moved. Then the shouting began. What does that mean? They didn't accept? They didn't reject it either. Is this a declaration? Treval's hands shook. They cannot simply walk out. This is a galactic agreement. But they had walked out. And not in anger. In stillness. As if the council was no longer worth speaking to. Some laughed. Let them go. What can Earth do? Without council support, they will fall. Others weren't so sure. A gray-scaled ambassador leaned close to Treval and whispered, They didn't shout, they didn't argue, they just left. That's worse. Treval wiped sweat from his forehead. Get me a feed from their ship now. Aboard the human vessel, silence continued. The team walked calmly through their black metal corridors. No one spoke. No one needed to. They had discussed every scenario before coming. Inside the command room, the older man finally spoke. They expected us to beg. The woman beside him nodded. Now they'll start guessing. They'll panic. He looked out at the stars. They pushed too far. And now? She asked. He smiled faintly. Now they find out what silence from Earth truly means. Whispers in the void, from the story. The council pushed too far. Humans left without a word. HFY. Sci-fi tales. Style. Third-person language. Simple and engaging. Length. 770 words. The council hall was quieter now, but the tension inside had only grown louder. In the hours since Earth's exit, emergency meetings were called. Private channels buzzed with worried whispers. Old alliances were double-checked. New threats were imagined. No one knew what Earth was planning, and that was the real danger. Unlike others, humans didn't shout when angry. They acted. Treval sat in his private chamber, his hands trembling slightly as he reviewed the footage. Again. 5 humans. No words. Just a cold, calm walkout. He tapped his comms. Bring in the intelligence chair. A short, insect-like alien entered, wearing a dark robe. Treval asked, What are they doing now? The chair's voice was dry. Nothing. Their ships remained still. No signals, no calls, not even movement. Nothing. Traval's eyes narrowed. They left orbit 3 hours ago and disappeared into dark space. All transmissions from them went silent the moment they left. Treval leaned back. Then they are hiding something. The chair nodded. That would be very human of them. Across the galaxy, other governments began to notice Earth's silence too. At a military station orbiting the twin moons of Halros, General Vec, a broad-shouldered reptilian commander, watched sensor feeds nervously. All human vessels are no longer showing their locations, an officer said. Stealth systems engaged across the board. Vec didn't blink. This isn't retreat, this is preparation. But for what? Vec's tail twitched. For something we won't be ready for. Back on Earth, the mood was the opposite, of panic. The central command tower stood high above the clouds. Inside, screens flickered with star maps, ship positions, and council activity. But no one rushed. No one yelled. Plans were already in motion. The man who had led the walkout stood before a massive window, arms behind his back. They'll try to guess, he said. They'll fear the worst. And they should. The woman next to him handed over a data tablet. Stage 1 is active. All human fleets have gone dark. Colonies are in standby mode. Tech lockdown complete. Civilian chatter is being controlled. He nodded slowly. We warned them, he said. They thought we'd bend like the others. She looked out the window, too. What's the council likely to do now? Blame each other, he replied. Then panic. Then force something they'll regret. Back at the council, that prediction was coming true. In the emergency chamber, the most powerful species in the galaxy argued louder than ever. They are bluffing. No, they're hiding something big. Earth cannot afford war with the whole council. Then why are they acting like they can? Treval slammed his fist on the table. Enough, we cannot just sit here. If Earth is preparing for conflict, we must respond before they strike. An ambassador from a gas giant world floated closer. Respond how? They have weapons we still don't understand, ships that bend space in ways we can't explain. Another added, and if they're not preparing for war but something else? What if they've created something that changes the game? A silence fell again. That was the true fear. Not just that Earth might strike, but that Earth had already changed the rules. On a distant moon base, a small group of humans were inside a sealed lab. The walls were thick with radiation shielding. Machines pulsed with strange energy. In the center of the room, something floated in a stasis field, a dark crystal, pulsing like a heartbeat. A young technician whispered, "Are we sure it's ready?" The lead scientist smiled. "It's not just ready," he said. "It's ours, and no one else in the galaxy even knows what it is yet." Eyes in the dark, from the story. The council pushed too far. Humans left without a word. HFY, Sci-Fi Tales. Style, third-person language, simple and engaging. Length, 770 words. The council couldn't wait any longer. Silence from Earth was too dangerous, too loud, too heavy, so they sent eyes. Across the stars, invisible drones and spy probes flew from hidden council stations. Small, fast, hard to detect. Each had one goal: see what Earth was hiding. The first drone entered Earth's outer defense line near Mars. It vanished in less than 10 seconds. The second one came in slower, coated in stealth materials from the T'Chari world. It reached closer, to orbit. Then it too disappeared. No warning, no flash, just gone. In the council's deep surveillance room, reports began pouring in. Another drone lost. Same result. Total blackout. Sensor logs show nothing, not even energy discharge. High Speaker Treval slammed his fist again. We sent the best stealth tech. This isn't defense. It's something else. The intelligence chair nodded. Something we do not understand. Meanwhile, on Earth's moon base, the dark crystal pulsed brighter now. It was not a weapon in the normal sense. It didn't shoot beams or fire missiles. It bent space itself. Humans had discovered it deep in the remains of a long-dead alien civilization, buried in a frozen system where no council ship dared go. Years of quiet study, testing, and patience had led to this moment. It was called the Silent Core. When activated, it wrapped space around Earth in a thick, invisible layer. No signals could pass in or out unless allowed. No scans could enter. No weapons could lock on. It made Earth disappear to those who weren't welcome. A young technician asked, "Should we increase its range?" The lead scientist replied calmly, "Not yet. Let the council panic first." The panic was already spreading. On Council World, station's military leaders were now debating preemptive strikes. Messages flew back and forth, accusations, doubts, threats. Some races wanted to wait. Others wanted to crush Earth before it was too late. But no one could agree on who should move first. "They have something we don't," said one general. "They always do," muttered another. At last, a decision came. Send a team. Not just drones, but a real scouting crew. A mixed alien team was chosen. 5 specialists from different races. Silent, skilled, trusted. They were told, "Get to Earth. Find out what they're hiding. Return alive." They never made it. The human defense field didn't destroy them. It turned their ship around. Every control failed. Gravity bent sideways. Engines shut off. The ship reappeared right where it started. Engines dead, crew unconscious. The Council couldn't understand it. "This is not just defense," Travail whispered. "This is control of space." Far from the Council chambers in deep black space, Earth's fleet was still dark. Hidden. Waiting. Inside a command carrier, the older human from the walkout sat with a few others. A calm tone filled the room. "All targets have been mapped. Are we to engage?" asked a quiet voice. The man shook his head. "No, we're not starting a war." "Then why the prep?" "Because," he said, "we're not the ones panicking. The Council is. We just gave them space. And silence." He stood looking over a large screen that showed real-time images from across Council space. Politicians fighting, fleets moving, borders tightening. They thought we were done talking. They don't understand. We just don't talk twice. Back. On the moon base, the silent core changed color. Deep purple now. It was awake. The lead scientist made a small adjustment. The field expanded. Now, not just Earth, but all human colonies vanished from detection. No pings, no heat, no energy trails. To the Council, it looked like Earth had vanished. One panicked ambassador cried out in the chamber, "They've left the galaxy." Another whispered, "Or they've prepared something we'll never be ready for." Travail stared into the holographic star map. So many lights, so many systems, and now, one big, dark gap. He spoke softly. "We pushed them too far, and now, we don't know where they are." The message that wasn't a message, from the story. The Council pushed too far, humans left without a word. HFY, Sci-Fi Tales. Style, third-person language, simple. And engaging length, 770 words. The Council waited, and waited. For days, no signals came from Earth. No movement from human fleets. No contact from colonies. It was like the entire human race had become a shadow pulled out of the galaxy. Some believed Earth had gone into hiding. Others whispered Earth had gone beyond the stars. But then, something arrived. Not a transmission. Not a threat. It was a box, a small, sealed, silent black box. It appeared inside the Council hall without any ship or messenger. One moment it wasn't there. The next, it sat in the center of the room, on the white marble floor, cold and waiting. Security. Teams rushed in. Scanners ran over it. No heat, no energy, no radiation, no signature. Just a message written on the surface in the most common galactic language. You had your turn. High Speaker Travail stared at it, lips dry. What does it mean? Someone asked. No one answered. An old council member whispered, "It means Earth isn't asking anymore." Inside the sealed council lab, technicians examined the box. It couldn't be opened. No force worked. No tool made a mark. It didn't respond to light, magnetism, temperature, nothing. It simply existed. Silent, immovable, unbreakable. "It's not metal," one tech said. "It's not anything we know," said another. Then, after 24 hours, the box opened on its own. No noise, no smoke, just a smooth slide. Inside was a single data crystal, glowing faint blue. No threat, no virus, just information. When loaded into a secure reader, the council members stared. What they saw made the room go silent. The data showed Earth's latest development, maps, science, and models that made no sense. The silent core. A device that didn't just bend space, it wrote new rules. It could remove gravity, shift time, change direction, seal entire solar systems, make stars vanish from view. It wasn't just defense. It wasn't even a weapon in the normal sense. It was a statement. You will not find us unless we allow it. And worse, Earth had already placed smaller versions across dozens of systems. Hidden. Waiting. The council had no way to stop it, or even track it. Trevel's hands were cold. "Why share this?" The intelligence chair replied softly. "Because they want us to know, and to feel small." Meanwhile, across human territory, peace reigned. Colonies continued growing. Stations traded quietly. Fleets trained, but did not attack. Life went on, silent, orderly, untouched by the chaos rising in the council. Inside Earth's command tower, the older man looked at the reports. "They've seen the box?" "Yes," the woman replied. "They're shaken. Many now want peace. Others still talk of force. They just don't know where to aim." He looked out the window again. Stars blinked far away. "We're not hiding, but we won't." Be pushed again. He placed a hand on the glass. They thought silence meant weakness, but now they see. He turned. "Silence is our shield, and our sword." Back at the council, debate turned into fear. "They can disappear," one alien shouted. "They can appear inside our halls," another yelled. "Then why haven't they attacked?" a voice asked. Silence followed, because that was the real question. Earth had power now, the kind that made empires fall. But they hadn't fired a single shot. They had simply walked away and made the galaxy feel small. In a distant listening post at the edge of the galaxy, a council scout picked up a faint signal. Not a message, not words, just music. Soft, human, a piano, echoing in deep space. It played for 2 minutes, then faded. The scout sat back, trembling. They didn't understand the tune, but they understood what it meant. Earth was still out there, watching, listening, waiting. A move too far from the story. The council pushed too far. Humans left without a word. HFY, Sci-Fi Tales. Style, third-person language, simple and engaging. Length, 770 words. The council was cracking. Some members wanted peace. Others wanted war. But one race, proud and old, had had enough of the waiting. They were called the Relac, tall, armored beings from a fire world, fierce, known for direct action. Their leader, Var, was tired of Earth's games. They hide behind tricks and shadows, he shouted in the council chamber. "We are warriors. We will not kneel to silence." Var stood before the council and declared, "If Earth will not answer us, then we will strike something they love." And with that, he sent a fleet to a small human colony named Dawnreach. Dawnreach was peaceful, a farming world. No weapons, no soldiers, just scientists, families, and clean air. The Relax ships arrived fast and hard. They didn't destroy the colony. No, they surrounded it, blockaded it, jammed its signals. They sent a message to Earth: "Come out of hiding, or your people will suffer." The council was horrified. Treval stood in shock. "What have you done?" he shouted at Var. Started the end of fear, the relic leader growled. But deep down, many knew the truth. He had started something else. Back on Earth, the message from Dawnreach was received. The room was silent. The older man watched the feed, families cut off, the colony in lockdown. No one hurt. Yet. But the threat was clear. He didn't call the council. He didn't speak to the relic. He only said 3 words. Send the signal. Above Dawnreach, relic warships floated like giants in the sky. Then something strange happened. The stars shifted. The sky bent. From the blackness of space, a single human ship appeared. No weapons glowing, no shields raised. It was smooth, dark, silent. One ship, small, unarmed. The relic laughed. This is Earth's answer? Then their screens went black. Their controls stopped. Their engines powered down. Every system went silent, without a single shot fired. On board the relic command. Ship. Lights flickered, alarms failed, and gravity twisted. The crew floated helplessly. Then a voice spoke. Not through speakers, but directly in their minds. Calm. Cold. This is your one warning. You do not touch what is ours. And then, just like that, everything returned to normal. The human ship was gone. The relic fleet was still alive. But their pride was broken. The council met again. This time, no shouting, only fear. What was that? How did they shut down a fleet? Treval spoke softly. The silent core is not just a shield, it's a hand. They didn't stop the ships. They stopped space itself. The room was quiet. Then a question came. What do we do now? Another voice answered, not from the council but from the shadows. A hologram of the older human flickered into existence. No guards, no introductions. He looked at them with calm eyes. You pushed too far, he said. We didn't leave because we were weak. We left because we were finished talking. Treval swallowed hard. What do you want? The human didn't smile. Nothing. He vanished. All across the galaxy, the message spread. Humanity didn't want war. They didn't want power. They just wanted peace on their own terms, and they had the means to get it, without lifting a single weapon. The relic pulled back from Dawnreach the next day. No one tried such a move again. The galaxy had changed, and all because Earth had chosen silence over submission. The council fractures, from the story. The council pushed too far. Humans left without a word. HFY was sci-fi tales. Style, third-person language, simple and engaging. Length, 770 words. The relic retreated from Dawnreach. Quietly, quickly, they offered no apology. They gave no reason. But the message was clear. They were afraid. Across the stars, smaller species took notice. For generations they had been bullied. By stronger races, by council politics, by the very rules made to protect peace. But now, Earth had shown a different path. A path where you didn't need the council. You just needed strength and silence. Inside the council chambers, things were falling apart. Meetings grew shorter, arguments grew longer. Trust disappeared. Some members now spoke openly. Maybe Earth was right. Maybe we need our own space. Maybe the council doesn't protect us anymore. Treval sat in the center, tired eyes watching the room crumble. One day, an ambassador from the small world of Karanos stood up and shocked everyone. We are withdrawing from the council, he said. We will not follow the path of fear. Treval. Choice, this is madness. No, the Karanos ambassador replied. This is freedom. And then, others followed. Within a week, 3 more races announced their exits. Some didn't say anything. They just stopped showing up. Earth hadn't lifted a weapon, but the council was bleeding members. Some thought Earth was behind it, others knew better. Earth wasn't calling for rebellion. They just showed what it looked like when you stopped asking permission. In the quiet of Earth's command tower, the older man reviewed the reports. Aides listed the names of the withdrawing species. Others briefed him on increasing requests for alliance technology, even peace pacts. One aide asked, "Should we accept them?" The man looked at the stars beyond the glass. "Only those who want peace. We are not building an empire." "But what if the council accuses us of spreading chaos?" He smiled faintly. "We didn't push anyone, we just stepped aside. And now?" He turned. Now they're realizing how heavy the council's grip truly was. Back in the council, panic turned into blame. "You made us weak," one shouted. "No, Earth made us look foolish. You pushed too far." Treval stood, voice low but firm. "No, we all did. We ignored the warnings. We thought humanity would bend." He looked around at the room, now half empty, barely lit. They didn't bend, they didn't break, and they didn't need to shout. In deep space, hidden from all, a human research station floated in silence. Inside, scientists worked on new versions of the silent core, smaller, smarter, stronger, not for war, for control, for independence. They had no flags, no speeches, just action. One young scientist asked her team leader, "Why are we still building these? The council already fears us." The leader answered without looking up, "Because we're not doing this to scare them." "Then why?" "To make sure we never have to ask anyone for permission again." On council channels, rumors grew louder. Earth has a second core. Earth is helping rebels. Earth plans to destroy the council. But none of it was confirmed, because Earth said nothing. And that silence was louder than any war cry. Indy, a quiet meeting on a neutral station. A few remaining council leaders gathered behind closed doors. "What do we do?" one asked. "If we strike, we risk total collapse. If we do nothing, we fade." Treval spoke last. "We do something we should have done long ago." "What's that?" He closed his eyes. "We listen." The return from the story. The council pushed too far. Humans left without a word. HFY, Sci-Fi Tales. Style, third-person language, simple and engaging. Length, 770 words. The council hall was nearly empty now. Where once hundreds of ambassadors filled the room with noise, only a few seats remained occupied. The banners of the Great Council no longer glowed. The grand lights were dimmed. Silence ruled the chamber. But today they waited. Not for debate, not for votes. For them. Earth had agreed to return. Not to negotiate. Not to accept anything. Only to speak. And the galaxy held its breath. A single ship arrived in orbit above the council world. No fleet, no weapons shown. Just one ship, sleek, dark, quiet. A transport pod descended, slow and steady. When it landed, the doors opened. 3 humans stepped out, the same team from the day Earth walked away. No guards, no fanfare, just purpose. They entered the council hall without a word. Heads turned. Old enemies lowered their eyes. No one dared speak first. At the center, the older man stopped. He looked around the chamber at what was left of a once great alliance, and then finally he spoke. "We didn't come to join again," he said calmly. "We didn't come to threaten or demand." He paused. "You asked what we wanted." He looked each of them in the eye. "We wanted to be heard. Not managed, not manipulated, just heard." Treval, who now looked older and heavier than before, stood slowly. "You showed us our own weakness," he said. "Not through weapons, but through silence." The human gave a small nod. "We didn't need to shout. You shouted for us." Treval lowered his head. "Then why come back?" The man looked up at the great glass ceiling above them, where the stars twinkled in stillness. "To leave one final time," he said. Murmurs spread across the chamber. "You will not stay?" someone asked. "No," he replied. "We don't need this table anymore. We will speak to those who listen, help those who ask, but we will never again ask for a seat here." He looked around one last time. Earth walks alone now, but not because we are alone. It's because we know who we are." He turned. The other humans followed. No drama, no anger, just the sound of footsteps fading across stone. They walked out, just like before. But this time the silence that followed was filled with respect, not fear. In the days that followed, a quiet wave swept the galaxy. Some who remained in the council restructured. They softened. They listened more. Others left to join Earth's new path, not as subjects, but as equals. The council didn't die, but it was never the same again, because now there was another center of power in the galaxy. Not a throne, not an empire, just a people who refused to be pushed, a people who didn't speak twice. Somewhere on a colony world far from the council's reach, a child looked up at the stars. "Is it true?" she asked her father. "Did Earth really walk out on the whole galaxy?" The man smiled, looking at the night sky. "They didn't just walk out," he said. He pointed upward. "They taught the stars how to listen."